Robert Downey Jr. and I met in 1995.
Yep.
And I was dating an old friend of his,
Yes.
Sunrise Quenye.
Correct. Who was close with my previous administration, Deborah Falconer.
And we were over at, I think, well, it was that beautiful kind of Spanish style in the hills that had that.
On Grace Avenue.
That's right.
Yep.
On Grace Avenue. And Sonny brought me over to meet Debbie.
Yep.
And you came by, and I was like, holy shit, that's Robert Downey. And Sonny was like, hey, Robert.
Yeah, don't flatter me too much. We were already hearing about this Mark Ruffalo guy who was making a splash and was going to be on the come up. Yeah, you didn't buy that. Do you want me to try another take?
No. I was just bartending at that time, and that's where they heard about me.
Yeah.
Favorites, and
I have a story to tell.
Okay.
We're shooting a scene in the mailroom, and we've done it about 60 times.
60, yeah.
And, you know, Mark's been working a bunch of days in a row. I'm feeling a bit mischievous. And he's like, we got it, right? And I was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. And then Fincher says, well, do we got it? He goes, Downey, come here. I want the scene to start like this. I want it to work. I go, you want it to work as a oneer? No, we don't have it. And he goes, Downey says we don't have it. So Mark, you can go to lunch. We'll scrap all those takes and we'll start over again.
Exactly.
He looked at me.
And he invented the delete button. There was no delete button ever in digital cinema. Yeah. And he specifically had it invented so that he could say, we're going to delete takes 1 through 45. And you're just like, no.
But you know, why
38 was my baby.
But isn't it because some part of this just wants to be off the hot seat and done? And we also know that there's always that thing of you, A, you want to make mom or dad happy. B, you kind of just, it's not that you want to be done, it's that you want to feel that there's progress that's being made because you're helping.
Yes,
right?
And you just want someone to say that was good enough, let's move on. I mean, do you feel like after all this time that you still have that kind of, that sort of push and pull with it?
Of course. Yeah, everything is, it's a constant battle between either seeking approval or seeking my own subjective kind of like being able to maintain interest over time, you know. And then we had this on this whole decade and a half Marvel run where we were just looking at each other like, God, we're really lucky. What are we doing? Who's a wizard? Who's coming from outer space? Which I think was another great challenge.
Yeah.
And
it's just another level, you know. It's just you break it all down. You put yourself out in a way that you didn't have to. We see a total character, a physical change, a vocal change, a different kind of guy. None of the mannerisms of anything that we'd ever seen before that you had perfected and had become so second nature to you. And they had that kind of discipline and that kind of reach, you know, for that next thing is like really admirable, and why I have always looked up to you and why I continue to look up to you. And that thing still, I mean, talk about that. Like what was that? Why is that still alive?
I mean, look, and then we'll move on to a far more interesting subject, you and poor things. All I know is I got a call, Chris Nolan. I knew kind of what it was. I went over to his house. It was black type on red paper, you know, and they send it like that, so you can't copy it.
Yes.
It was like Sudoku to get through in 180 pages. And I left there just knowing I was going to do it, and everybody and, you know, Susan and everyone was like, you need a challenge like this. And I go, I don't like it when everyone else is telling me what I need. And the truth be told is it all wound up to, I've tried everything else. How about trying to really focus on doing as little as possible just once? And correspondingly, I've known you a long time. I know what you're like when you're feeling
Crazy.
froggy and you're kind of having a good time and you're loose. And I know what you like. I know what you're like when you're pensive. I know what you're like when you're concerned about the state of the world. I know what you're like when you're comfortable with the homeostasis. But now I get it. I don't even know what scene you shot first. I would love to just know that.
Well, we had this amazing rehearsal period, which we've never had, you know? And it was literally 10 days of just theater games. Dancing, singing, movement, playing with each other's faces and bodies, and then playing together as a group. And then we probably spent maybe only 20% on the actual script. And when we did read the script, we were telling people, you have to raise your voice. Anytime you lifted your hand, that person would have to raise their voice when they were doing the line. Yes. Or you had to touch someone's face when you were doing the line. And in the middle of a line, say, this is the most beautiful part of you. And it's so it just like, it obliterated your ideas of what you think it should be.
Right.
And the script is still there living in you. So as you're playing, the character and the story is still kind of...
I just want to say this too, because knowing you forever, on one of these Avengers movies, you like take off your shirt or thing, and you were in really good shape. And the director was, I don't know if it was...
Whedon.
It might have been Joss, it might have been the Russos. But anyway, it was like, we got it. You're like, oh, can I please stop dieting and working out now?
Exactly.
There is no one I've ever come across who is actually more anxious to not be vain past the point where it is necessary to achieve an end for their work.
Is that a compliment?
It's a huge compliment, but I got to say, A, you look pretty bangable to me, in case you were wondering.
Thanks, man.
Because the guy, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
He is who he is.
And by the way, the costumes, I don't even want to... If we start going down the road of just like all of the delights of the department heads, and it was shot in
Budapest.
In Budapest, right?
Yeah.
So you get all those artisans, and you're all there, and just you're getting so much value, but it's still this kind of serial number. If you woke me up in the middle of the night, I would know it. And the last time I really, really did that was for the Iron Man screen test, when there were these 3 scenes that I could have been off book in 2 days, but I just went crazy on them for 2.5 months. This time I needed the 3 to 5 months. So I, again, like theater, I started with the words, and I knew that I wanted to do enough physically to be different. I knew that in black and white, getting the right shape would be good, and losing the right amount of weight and moving a certain way. And again, like, I know this kind of person. I know the political animal. And then it's just watching what else is going on, like watching Killian, like, okay, that's Mozart. So that's what he's doing. And I have to be this other thing. So it was also great because I got a lot of perspective on, you know, people through the years coming into play. Oh, the great Tony Stark. I mean, it's all, you know, we're all kind of doing the same thing. And